It's 1 a.m., and you're still staring at your investment app hoping tomorrow's market finally turns green. Tomorrow starts early, but your mind is spending more energy tracking volatility than fixing your actual life. A 3% drawdown ruins your mood, but a tiny gain suddenly makes the future feel safe again. It's strange how a portfolio meant for your future can quietly steal peace from your present. People say investing is about taking risk, but sometimes it's really just dependence on hope. The internet makes everyone look wealthy, and that quietly convinces ordinary people they are falling behind. Investing slowly became emotional entertainment instead of a long-term tool for stability and compounding. Some people are earning more money than ever, yet sleeping worse every single year. Welcome to The Margin, where we talk about money, modern pressure, and why financial exhaustion feels so normal now. Today we'll explore why the best portfolio is not the most aggressive one, but the one that protects your peace during hard seasons. Most people start investing because they are scared of being left behind, not because they truly understand what kind of life they want. They see other people posting huge returns online and suddenly their own financial progress feels painfully slow. Over time, investing quietly turns into a psychological race instead of a healthy long-term financial decision. Soon, the portfolio fills with volatile assets they barely understand because the internet keeps calling them the future. Ironically, the more complicated the strategy becomes, the more emotional volatility many people start to feel. Some people check the market every 15 minutes as if their entire future depends on every red or green candle. Money is supposed to create breathing room, not a brand new mental alarm system every single day. We are constantly taught to chase maximum return, but almost nobody talks about the emotional cost behind that risk. Lack of sleep, overthinking, crash anxiety, and fear of missing out slowly become part of the daily routine. Eventually, all that hidden stress drains real-life energy even when the portfolio balance continues moving higher. The real problem is not just the market because many people quietly build portfolios around their personal anxiety. And anxiety usually pushes people into short-term decisions that leave them emotionally exhausted long before compounding ever works. Living costs now rise faster than most people's sense of financial stability, so many start chasing oversized returns just to feel safe again. For many workers, the paycheck disappears so quickly that investing starts feeling like an emergency escape plan instead of a long-term process. Investment was never designed to rescue emotions overnight because it is simply a financial tool shaped by time horizon and risk. Internet algorithms keep rewarding dramatic success stories because volatility and emotional reactions hold attention longer than patience ever will. One person showing massive profit online can quietly trigger thousands of strangers to feel behind in their own financial lives. Modern financial culture often treats calm long-term compounding as boring even though stability is usually what builds durable wealth. People who avoid constant financial panic sometimes look less ambitious, even though they are simply protecting their mental bandwidth. Building wealth slowly is very different from taking emotional risks just to earn social validation from strangers online. Many investors never realize they are accumulating stress and emotional drawdown, instead of building a healthier financial future. The more unstable daily life becomes, the easier it feels to justify emotionally driven financial risks with short time horizons. Financial companies understand that fear and uncertainty can keep people engaged far more effectively than calm education ever could. Most financial marketing does not sell peace of mind because dramatic hope is usually more profitable than emotional stability. I once read about an IT worker in New York whose salary and portfolio both looked successful on paper. But his daily life still felt like a financial emergency that never fully ended. Every morning started with checking futures markets before even speaking to his wife. Even during dinner, his attention stayed trapped inside technology stocks and volatility updates. Over time, market volatility quietly began controlling his sleep, health, mood, and relationships. The strange part was that he already had more money than he realistically needed long-term. And honestly, this pattern is more common than most people want to admit. Many people are not actually lacking money but lacking a stable sense of safety. The larger his portfolio became, the larger every potential drawdown started to feel emotionally. Eventually, investing stopped feeling like freedom and started behaving more like a psychological prison. Because if wealth never makes life feel lighter, something in the system may already be broken. A healthy portfolio should expand your life instead of shrinking your world into a single graph. A good portfolio should make your life feel more stable, not turn every market move into a personal emergency. Real investing should reduce chaos in your routine instead of adding more volatility to your emotions. I call this the calm portfolio framework because it protects your mental bandwidth as much as your money. Never invest money that your current life still depends on for rent, food, or survival. If a temporary drawdown destroys your sleep, the portfolio risk may already be too heavy for this stage of life. Many people secretly build portfolios for internet validation instead of long-term sustainability. The internet will never absorb the emotional cost of volatility when your mental health starts breaking down. A strong system is one you can still follow during stressful months when motivation disappears. Burnout, low energy, and financial pressure are exactly when simple investing systems matter most. The best portfolio is usually the one most likely to survive an entire decade without emotional collapse. Emotional consistency often compounds better than short moments of reckless confidence. In modern finance, the ability to stay calm during volatility may be one of the most valuable assets nobody measures. There was another story about a public school teacher earning an ordinary salary in a very expensive city. He never used complicated strategies or chased volatility every single day after work. Every month he quietly bought a simple index fund with a long-term time horizon and modest amount. Over time, the biggest return was not money alone, but finally being able to sleep peacefully at night. Market drawdowns no longer controlled his emotions because his identity was bigger than portfolio performance. He still had enough mental space for books, exercise, and dinners with family during the week. Online, he probably looked average, but mentally his life was becoming far more valuable than before. That kind of quiet success feels surprisingly rare in a culture constantly measuring status and net worth. Many people chase financial freedom while quietly sacrificing emotional freedom somewhere along the process. Some people eventually build large assets, but still live with constant stress and mental volatility every day. Sometimes life feels lighter not because income suddenly grows, but because the mind finally stops expecting disaster. A good portfolio should reduce emotional volatility and help create a safer, more stable life over the long term. Maybe the internet taught us the wrong definition of wealth because everything became obsessed with numbers instead of stability. Very few people ever ask how much emotional cost is hidden behind chasing financial success. Some people earn millions of dollars and still live inside permanent anxiety every single day. Meanwhile, someone with a simple life can still enjoy a quiet morning without fear in their chest. Modern life keeps telling us that more is always better, even when more often just means more exhaustion. More assets can quietly create more pressure, more expectations, and more emotional volatility. At the same time, peace of mind keeps becoming more expensive and strangely more difficult to find. That is why many people secretly envy stable lives now more than luxurious lifestyles. Human bodies were never designed to survive non-stop financial stress, even if the apps look modern and polished. You do not need to become the most aggressive investor in the room to still have a healthy long-term future. Sometimes the best financial strategy is simply the one that protects your mind during unstable times. And choosing peace over constant financial chaos is not weakness, but a form of financial maturity. Life may still feel unfinished right now, and the bills still arrive every single month. Prices keep climbing while the future still looks blurry from where most people stand. But if your money finally gives you a little room to breathe, that already matters more than people admit. If opening your banking app no longer causes panic, that is also a quiet financial victory. Emotional stability often arrives before financial stability, not after it like the internet suggests. The people who survive long-term volatility are usually not the most aggressive, but the most patient. They are not busy trying to look rich because they are busy building a life they can actually enjoy. They understand that money is not only for growth, but also for peace of mind over time. The internet rarely celebrates peaceful lives because calm living does not create dramatic thumbnails. Real life is not a thumbnail competition, but a long-term effort to survive without losing yourself. Maybe that quiet stability is what real wealth actually looks like after all the noise disappears. Real wealth may not be luxury at all, but simply a life that no longer feels like an emergency every day. If your portfolio keeps you awake at night, the problem may not be the market, but the way you carry risk. A healthy investment strategy should reduce financial stress over time instead of adding more volatility to your daily life. Not everyone dreams about becoming a billionaire because many people simply want enough stability to breathe normally again. Choosing peace over constant financial comparison is not weakness, but a realistic long-term decision. In a world filled with financial pressure, emotional stability has quietly become a modern form of wealth. Maybe you are not falling behind, but simply exhausted from a culture that constantly monetizes insecurity. Building a stable life slowly still matters, even when the internet celebrates only extreme outcomes and fast compounding stories. If this conversation feels uncomfortably familiar, this channel was probably built for people carrying the same quiet pressure. Subscribe to The Margin if you want calmer conversations about money without motivational noise pretending to be financial wisdom. So now I'm curious whether investing has made your life feel more stable or simply more emotionally exhausted.